Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Rough Ryder Vibe here. And these are a couple knives that I picked up when I was down at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. But before I go into great detail about these, I need to do a little bit of full disclosure. When I was at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, I was looking at a variety of knives, and when I was looking at another modern folder by Rough Ryder, Greg said, you may want to take a look at this knife. This is the Vibe. And I said, oh yeah, I've seen that before. And in any case, I opened up the box and I looked at it, and while I was looking at it, Greg mentioned, yeah, this is a knife that we're kind of surprised. We thought it would be selling better than it was. And I actually took it, the knife out of the box and like started playing with it and looking at it, going, yeah, I had seen it online and didn't really think too much about it, but now that I have it in hand, it's a pretty cool knife. I think I'm going to grab a couple of those so I can do a video on them. That's literally what I said. And he goes, well, as long as you're going to do a video on them, here, just take these two and don't, and he said, just take them. I didn't have to pay for them or anything. And I said, well, I'd rather pay for them because I don't like to review knives that I haven't paid for. And he said, no, in this case, just go ahead and tell people that you got them for free from us. And so I did not pay for these two knives, neither one of them. I did not pay for the black one. I did not pay for the red one. This is the Rough Ryder Vibe. I'm going to still try and give you the most honest opinion of them as I possibly can. And hopefully, just from looking at the knives, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, as you can tell, there's two different colors for this knife. Otherwise, they're really identical knives. One of them is red. The red is the RR 2606, and then the black is the RR 2605. Otherwise, the knives are identical. And what you have with them is, as you can see, a sheep's foot or a ram's foot blade, and then you have this handle with the interesting cuts in it and everything, and the rather long pocket clip. It is not a reversible pocket clip, but you can remove it if you want to. However, the two sides are not identical. So if you notice, there's only two recesses on this side, and then you have the recess where the handle is screwed down in there. On this side, you have the four recesses cut into there. Really good movement on both knives, and really good lockup. There's no movement on the blade. This is really a modern folder. The handle material is G10 on both knives. And you can see both of them are the same. I did not pick anything specifically out or anything. I basically just took the two that Greg handed me, and he just grabbed one of each from the counter. So it wasn't like these were specifically picked or anything like that. It's just the two that were handed to me. And well, when I had the red one in hand, I looked at it and go, well, man, good lineup on there and everything else. And you can see that on the red one here too. Both of them have excellent lineup, which I would expect because both of these are basically modern slip joint knives. And you can see that when you open it up. And well, for one thing, you've got the G10 covers, or actually scales. You can see the stop bar down at the bottom there that prevents the blade from having any kind of blade wrap and from it going down too far. There is no kind of a give in the blade because it is pressing up against the lock bar. You do see here that it is held together with a torque screw on both sides. So if it were to get a little loose, you could actually tighten it back up. It's also got a couple torque screws here on the handles to hold it along the spine there, the back spring. And that's what you do have. You have a back spring going on here. And I think it might be running on a bushing of some kind. Yeah, there's definitely a bushing in there. Looks like a metal bushing though. It's not like but it is a washer, I guess. That's more the correct term for it. There's a washer inside there for the pivot spot. And that's the case on both knives. Now, the pocket clip can be removed, but it cannot be reversed. And if you notice here with the cutouts, you've got 4 kind of cutouts on this side, only 2 on this side because of the pocket clip. So if you remove it, which is very possible, the 2 sides are still not going to be symmetrical or anything. The other thing what I noticed is the little indentation here on both sides. That is the natural spot where your index finger is going to drop. So you're going to be holding the knife back a little bit. You don't have a whole lot of space to get a grip on it there. It's just a 3-finger grip, but that's more than enough with this small knife. And it is a small knife. I mean, the overall length of the knife, if you see right here, comes in right at 3 inches at its best. You know, that's closed. It comes in right at 3 inches. Now, the blade length is right at, I think about 2 1/8, 2 1/4, something like that. All right, 2 1/4 for the blade length. The cutting edge is just over 2 inches, you know, like 2 1/16 or something. And the overall length of the knife when you got it open is like 5 1/4 inches. So it is not a big knife at all. This is definitely something that would also be considered kind of non-threatening because of the sheepfoot blade there. And you notice it's got a nice flat grind all the way down, with the exception of the oversized nail nick here for pulling it. And that goes all the way out to the edge of the blade. And that's the way it is on obviously both versions of it. That might be something that turns off a few people, the oversized pull. And maybe some people would have liked to have seen that on both sides. I think I would have liked to have seen it on both sides. But as you can see here, it is relatively deep. It's going down past the midway point there. So you really can only put it on one side, at least if you're going to make it that deep. And if you made it less deep, you really wouldn't be able to get a nail nick on there, or you know, a nail into the nick to pull it open. However, you really don't need it, at least as long as it's a sheepfoot blade. You know, you can pull that open just by pinching the blade. So I'm not sure if that was necessary to have on there. That would be my one criticism of it. I would have liked to have seen that on both sides, just a nice little rib or a cutout on it like that, but not so deep. That would give you a little bit of friction so that your hand could grab onto it, or your finger would have something to purchase onto, because it does help with purchasing the blade when you're just pinching it. So that would be one thing that I would think maybe have considered changing. But the one thing I was looking at with this knife is you do notice that it is kind of, the blade kind of rises up a little bit. You could also, if you were the adventurous type or a person with a decent grinder, you could probably easily turn this into a like Wharncliffe blade, you know, by cutting it back like so, turning it into a Wharncliffe blade, which a lot of people would really like, and you would still have enough of a nail nick, because of how long it is, that you would still be able to use a nail nick to pull it open, even if you were to turn this into a Wharncliffe blade. So that is something else that I like about it. What I really like about it though, and this is the thing that really impresses me about it, and the first thing I thought of when I saw these knives was, this is one of those knives that you could easily take to work or into an office setting and no one would think twice about it. It's only 3 inches long, yet you've got a 2-inch blade that is very useful. That's what I looked at. This is a blade that is going to be great for, you know, peeling your apples. It's going to be a great blade for opening envelopes, opening boxes, and any of those other little chores that you might have. You know, you could definitely even use this if in a pinch to cut up a steak or something like that. Yeah, it's only a 2-inch blade, but that's really, you know, the part of the blade that you're going to want to use, that edge right out the end. And it would be really good at cutting, you know, paracord, almost any other kind of thing. Your 99% of your daily cutting chores could basically be done with this knife. And it's a knife that easily fits into a 5th pocket. It has a pocket clip if you want to use it. So if you really don't have any laws that forbid you from having a knife, you know, kind of concealed in a pocket. I know some places, doesn't matter how big it is, if that pocket clip is on there, you might be able to get in trouble over it. But you could easily take off the pocket clip too. So there's a lot of positives about this Vibe. But for me, my friend, I think the best thing about this knife is just how small and compact it is. You got a knife that is 3 inches long with a 2-inch blade. And that is something that is going to be legal to carry in a lot of places. It has some nice lines to it. It looks pretty cool. It has a very non-threatening blade when you think about it. So there's so many positives for this. And it's like one of those knives that is going to be perfect for like the urban carry. One of the things that I think that Rough Ryder might want to do in order to improve sales of it, though, is consider marketing it to a larger audience. Because what you have going here are some really good things. You've got the G10 handles, which are really good. I know some people would like to see a D2 blade steel or a VG10. That would be really good too. And I get it. That would mean also a step up in the price of the knife, but we are talking about a modern slip joint. So, you know, if you were to put VG10 into this, that might be a big improvement. And that might also, even if it meant someone would have to pay $5 or $10 more for it, and that might be a way to get more people to buy them, simply by having an upgraded steel in it. The VG10 and the lines on it, to me, are really great. I really do like it. I could see sticking with the same blade that you have here, because if you do go with like a Wharncliffe blade, while the Wharncliffe blade is very popular, it looks a little more threatening than the sheep foot blade. So sheep foot blade doesn't look nearly as threatening as a Wharncliffe blade. The other thing I think that you might want to consider is different colors. Black and red are great, especially black. Everyone loves a basic black. However, you might be able to also break into the female audience by coming out with a nice bright pink or purple. Also, some guys might want to like grab a green. I like green more than red. Blue's another great color that people like. Orange would also be one of those colors that would appeal to both probably men and women. Same with purple. Purple will attract both men and women, it seems. Pink, I know more for the women out there, but it would be a pretty cool knife for a person to throw in their purse. It's a very useful knife, very versatile. I think the idea would be double down on it. Consider new colors, consider a VG10 steel, and you might be able to sell this even better than it's selling now. I know that you were saying that the sales are not what you were expecting, but I have since seen that there are people out there who have bought it and have said positive things about it. So It does have a loyal following, but I think you could increase the size of that loyal following just by a few different color options and by popping over to VG10 and turning this into a true modern folder or a true modern slip joint. Because I tell you what, I like it. It feels really good in the hand, and it's a really good size. And unlike some of those other knives that are out there where if you squeeze it, the handle closes in on it, this one has a pretty stiff handle. There's a little give, but not much. The other thing I'd probably consider doing is getting that the pocket clip reversible. That might be something else I would look at doing, is doing a reversible pocket clip. But that is really minor. I'm just happy that the pocket clip can be removed. In any case, that's my thought on the Vibe. Stick around and I'll show you some slides and compare it to a few other knives I got. Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.